Hi everybody, how old or young do you have to be able to change? Well, we'll discuss that today a little bit. I do want to mention that I changed locations in my house to make the video because we have a bird that came with a guest. So if it was Parshas Noach with the ark, with the animals, I would have maybe kept the same place. But now anyway, we're getting a bird from the outside, but be it as it may. Hi, this is Avrohom Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange. Hope you and yours are well. This week's Torah portion is the beginning of Chumash Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, and the first portion in Devarim is Parashas, the portion of Devarim. And in it we learn about that Moshe chastises the Jewish people for the mistakes they've made in the past and is teaching them for the future. But he starts out very softly. He doesn't hit them with a 2x4, but he alludes to the places where they made mistakes. Being able to tell somebody to change or to do something better is an art form, to know how to do that, to do with caring and love. A beautiful example of this is the Rabbi, a great Hasidic Rabbi, who was walking on the street and he saw two Jewish people smoking on Shabbos. And he walked over to them and said, "You're Jewish, I'm Jewish, you're my brothers. Please don't smoke on Shabbos." And one of the people said, "Okay, Rabbi, I'm going to listen to you. Okay, I shouldn't smoke on Shabbos. You're on." And the other one said, "Rabbi, why don't you mind your own business? It's America. We can do what you want. I want to smoke." And the rabbi looked at him gently and said, "If I was walking by and God forbid you were bleeding from a wound, and I came to help you, would you have said to me, 'Rabbi, mind your own business'? What difference does it make if your body is bleeding or if your soul is bleeding?" So change is an important thing, and it's difficult for us because we're in our habits and we have the things that we like to do. After World War II, some rabbis went to a convent. Unfortunately, many Jewish parents looking for a place to hide their kids from the Nazis brought them to a convent, hoping to one day pick them up after the war. Unfortunately, many of the parents didn't make it back. But the rabbis knew that there were some Jewish children there. And the nuns said, "No, we don't have any Jewish kids here." So the rabbi said, "Come, let's take a look." And they went into the dining room and they started saying, "Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, Hear Israel, God is one." And when they started saying Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, the prayer that every child says before he goes to sleep, and adults too, but every child says before he goes to sleep, some of the kids remembered that from years before and finished and said, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Echad, God is one. And that's how they identified who the Jewish children were. And even though it was a big change, they didn't know these people, it wasn't their parents, and they had forgotten a lot, but many of the children were saved this way. So it's never too young to change. And there was a man who was 83 years old, and he met the same Kapishnitzer Rebbe that I talked about before. And he wasn't religious. And the Kapishnitzer Rebbe said to him, "You're 83. 70 is a lifetime. 83 is 13 years later. You're becoming bar mitzvah again, another bar mitzvah." And he said to him, "I'll tell you what, if you put on tefillin, I will make a party for you, a kiddush for you. We'll get cake and drinks and things. It'll be very nice." And the man saw the sincerity of the Rebbe and said, "Okay, you got a deal. I'll put on the tefillin for my 13th birthday at 83. And the Rebbe, bought cakes and treats and drinks, and he bought him a pair of tefillin. And he put it on, and not only that one time, but he continued to do it for the rest of his life. So change is an indication of growth and being a bigger person. That's what we're here for. We're here to grow, to change, to develop self-development, to become better people. And that's what we're here for. And that's what Moshe, even though it was at the end of his life, he wanted to help the Jewish people remember, to change, to grow, to become better. And that's why he told them what's the best way to do that and learn from the mistakes of the past. So no matter how old we are or how young we are, it's never too early or too late to change, to become a better person, and to serve the Almighty with joy and be the best that we can each be. Have a wonderful Shabbos. All the best.